Hey everybody, I'm Tori.
I'm Courtney, and we're your bitch pack friends.
Today we are going to be talking about Gypsy-Rose Blanchard. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Recently released from prison after being convicted of second-degree murder and serving an 8 of her 10-year prison sentence. So Gypsy-Rose is free.
Finally.
Finally. So, for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably no one, but I'll give you a quick summary. So, Gypsy-Rose was convicted of second-degree murder. She asked her boyfriend, a guy named Nick Godejohn, to kill her mother so that they could leave and start a life together. She met Nick on a Christian dating website, unnamed in all of the interviews, but I can only imagine it's Christian Mingle. I don't know why they're not saying the name. But Nick came to her house in Missouri from where he lived in Wisconsin, stabbed Gypsy's mom, killed her. They slept together before they left, which I think is an extra layer of weird. And then they were quickly found and arrested. So Gypsy's free, but her ex-boyfriend Nick is serving a life sentence. So she honestly got off kind of easy.
Very easy. Especially when you look at his sentence. Do you think that's fair?
I definitely think he should be serving life in prison because it meets all the criteria of premeditated, unapologetic, violent, blatant disregard for human life. So I know he has autism or something, but also he's literally like a cold-blooded killer. So
Evil.
Yeah, and absolutely unapologetic about it.
Yes, I was torn on that for a minute because I feel like she definitely manipulated him into doing it. I think she really just wanted to be free of her mom and she didn't want to have to do it herself. But I'm like, because he has autism, I'm torn on it.
Do you think he should go to like a mental health facility or something instead?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And he wasn't violent before. Would he be violent again? I don't know. I'm not a professional.
Yeah, it's hard to say. They did not get equal sentences. But Gypsy seemed from what I've seen in the videos and everything, it seems like she was kind of thriving in prison. I just watched a video where she said her best memory was her first day of prison because she walked out in the yard with all the picnic tables and stuff, and she was like, "This is the most free I've ever been in my whole life." And
which really puts into perspective how awful it was with her mom.
So with her mom, she wasn't allowed to walk. She had to pretend like she couldn't walk. She was subjected to surgeries and medications that she didn't need, so she kept having to go into the hospital, and that's a lot of trauma on your body to go to surgery, especially if you don't need it.
Destroyed all of her teeth with meds.
That's one of the most unforgivable things that her mom did, in my opinion, is ruin her teeth.
I have like a recurring nightmare where my teeth are falling out of my head. So that's just I couldn't handle it.
That's supposed to mean something. Do you know what it means when you have dreams
I think
about
it's
that?
I have looked it up. It's like a lack of control.
Oh, interesting. Do you feel that?
No, I'm in charge.
Weird. Her mom told her she had a shortened life expectancy. So she kept being like, "You're not going to live past 7, or you're not going to live past 15 or 25, which I feel like that has to wear on you to think that you're going to die anytime.
At that age, you're going to believe everything your mom says. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Her mom also said that she was mentally retarded, so other people treated her like she didn't have a full mental capacity, and she even believed that she didn't have a full mental capacity, which again, like, you must be second guessing yourself all the time if you believe that.
And like what age was she when she started realizing her mom was lying?
Yeah. I feel like when Gypsy started being complicit in not walking in front of other people, I think that probably was like, I mean, I'm sure on some level she had to be like, what else is not true, you know? Like, I walk around at night, like I walk around when no one's home. And so she's like, maybe I'm not retarded, or maybe I don't know, but I'm sure it's hard. It's hard to say.
Well, and I think there were some doctors that would like disagree with her mom, and
Hmm.
obviously she'd be in the room seeing that, and her mom would just like shut them down and leave and never go back. But
Yeah.
she did hear people disagreeing with her mom from time to time.
There was one doctor, I can't remember his name, but he wrote this report about how he suspected that the mom had Munchausen by proxy, and that it was the worst case that he had ever seen. And he wrote that in a report, like, don't trust the mom. She's a bad historian of the daughter's health. And the mom requested a copy of those documents, and then they just never went to that doctor again. So it's
Yeah,
like, what?
so why, so that doctor like put it in their medical record but didn't report it to like CPS or whatever?
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Because that's what he should have done, because they would have like investigated that, but all he did was like make a note of it.
Yeah. Well, I did read somewhere that it was like it's hard. Well, one, it's so rare that nobody knows what to do with a case of Munchausen by proxy because yeah, it's not something you see every day. And when you like if there is abuse, usually abuse is characterized by a lack of care. And with Gypsy and her mom, it was like her mom was over caring for her. So
Hmm.
like how do you say like you're giving the kid too much medicine or
Yeah.
or whatever. It's just hard. And even like I've had jobs where I've had to work with like kids in the foster care system or adjacent to it, and like you have to basically be trying to like kill your own kid to have it taken away from you, which I guess is the case here. But it's just very hard to
Kinda.
get it's very hard to like you have to have like consistent, repeated, or extremely severe documented cases of child abuse, and I just
Like
don't think
very
any
obvious abuse.
yeah, like I just don't think anybody had the perspective of actually what was going on. Just I mean, it was
Hmm.
just so weird.
Yeah, unless Gypsy would have like came right out and told everybody everything
Hmm.
and been like, I'm not sick. Somebody get me the out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Um well, and I thought like when I first heard about this case, I was like, "Oh, well she can just grow up." Like I mean, it's not ideal, but she'll just grow up and then she'll go do her own thing and she can have her life and she can cut her mom off if she wants. But this went on like into her early 20s where she was still being taken care of by her mom. She was still eating out of a
Hmm.
feeding bag. She wasn't allowed to be alone. And it's like, and so I thought that was strange, but also like, what are you going to do? Like, what is she going to get a job? Like,
Yeah.
how, like, where does she have to go? And her
Yeah.
mom told her
Well,
no one was trustworthy. Like, she couldn't trust her dad. She couldn't trust people outside their house, outside their family. So, like,
yeah,
I get
it's
why.
a complete mindfuck for Gypsy. Like there's no way she's normal at this point. Like how could she be? It's not her fault, but like her mom has messed her up. So like her mom kept changing her age somehow. So
Oh
like
yeah.
their paperwork got lost in Katrina, and so her mom like kept making her younger. And I think she got to a point where she couldn't keep doing that. And I don't know if this happened in real life, but in the act, her mom, so once she is 18, the doctors are like, Gypsy needs to sign off on this now because she's 18. And her mom is trying to legally become like a guardian or whatever. I don't remember
Like a
like the exact
conservator, like Britney
legal.
Spears.
Yeah, basically, where she would still be like medically responsible and like everything, she'd still be responsible for Gypsy, even though she's an adult. So I don't know
Hmm.
if that happened in real life, but if that did happen, she's saying there's no end to this. And even if she did get out of this with her mom somehow, if her mom was alive today, she'd still be dealing with her
Yeah,
somehow, unless she just completely cut her off.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, her mom would be relentless, I think. I listened to some doctor's analysis of Gypsy, and they said even under the best of circumstances, even with her mentally, rehabilitating herself and acclimating to life outside of prison and outside of her mom's house, the only language that she has for interacting with other human beings is the language of manipulation that she learned from her mom.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, even like best case scenario, she's still going to have a lot of difficulty in the world because that's how she engages with other people, is she manipulates them. And
Yes.
like even giving her the benefit of the doubt, like saying she's going to do, like best case scenario, she will always struggle with that. And that makes me very
She
sad.
doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
That's just normal to her. Well, did you watch the interview? It's like 60 Minutes or something. Her first interview after getting out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they're like giving her backstory and everything. And then they're interviewing, and there's something off. Like you can feel, she almost feels like she's acting when she's answering these questions. Like she's saying what you want to hear, but it doesn't feel sincere.
I do think she definitely is coached to like look cute on camera, look apologetic, look innocent, look helpless. And it's like how much of that is sincere.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hard to say, because I don't like I think she always had to be thinking about her mom, and so I don't know if she has the capability to present as totally sincere. I think she's always going to be like thinking about how she's perceived.
All the world's a stage.
Yeah. So with kind of that deception and manipulation, when Gypsy was growing up, some of the things that Dee Dee got for her mom, were they had a home built for them for Habitat for Humanity. The Make-A-Wish Foundation took them on a trip to Disney World, all expenses paid. They had several free flights for Gypsy's many surgeries. And then just people would send them cash all the time. Like people would be like, I heard your story, or I saw you on TV. Here's $100 or $1,000. Like, hope it helps. And so even like after Gypsy and her boyfriend committed the murder, I think they took like $5,000 that the mom just had sitting in a closet because people were sending them so much cash. And like, I mean, they made a pretty good honestly, they made a pretty good living off of a lie. And for never having to work.
They were getting child support, even though Gypsy's mom was saying, like, your dad isn't doing anything to help us. He was sending them child support the entire time.
I forgot about that. What do you think about the dad?
How do you not get more involved? Like, I know they were living in different places.
Yeah.
And I guess, why wouldn't you believe the mother of the child also? So that's another thing I'm torn on, is how did he not know that she was not right?
I feel like the media is painting the dad as a good guy, which is, I mean, maybe he is, but it does seem a little bit unfair. Like they're like, well, he didn't know, and he was just doing his best, and he was sending child support. And the mom, like, he would have been more involved, but the mom wasn't letting him be more involved. And I sort of understand. Like I kind of get that.
I don't, because, like, if for some reason I wasn't with my husband and he had our kids and wasn't letting me see them, I would fight to the death to be able to see my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I'm just giving...
Like, legally, her dad was allowed to see her. Why? And just because the mom is saying, no, you can't come see her, that doesn't matter. I would be knocking down the door if I had to. Or, legally, he could have taken steps to, like, force the mom to let him see Gypsy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think this is my this is my low expectations of men being revealed. It's like he sent the money. What more do you want? But yeah, I just, like, I don't know. I feel like back in the 90s, like he didn't have a lot of like, I do feel like for what the cultural expectation was back then, like he was doing more than maybe some other guys would have.
Yeah. Well, and he seems a bit dodo.
Yeah. The accent of his, like, I I think I'm pretty. I like accents. I think they're pretty interesting.
Mhm.
And when I saw him do an interview, I was like, I have never heard anyone talk like that.
Where are you from? Well, his
Yeah.
wife has the same accent. So I'm like,
Yeah.
is this like just just a neighborhood thing?
Yeah.
Or
They're like,
where is it coming from?
yeah, they're like some backwoods bayou people.
Is
It's
it
yeah.
just a hillbilly accent?
I think it's just like a deep like Louisiana country accent.
Is that where Brittany's from?
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah. They're the same as Brittany. They're just one. I wonder, yeah. Yeah, I don't yeah, I think that's a good point. It's I don't think he did, and he also knew, I think he suspected that things were not right. I don't think anyone like I don't think anyone really could have guessed how bad and how weird things were, but the dad
Hmm.
knew something was not right. He knew she was overbearing. He knew her mental health was not all there. He was married to her for like 6 months and was like, I'm out. Like,
Can't do
so,
this.
so,
Well, and
um,
her own family hated her.
the other thing too that I feel like nobody brings up is the dad was 17 when Gypsy was born, and the mom was 24. Which
Hmm.
again, I feel like is a sign of the times. Is like if that happened today, everybody would be like, "Hey, you're a pedophile, Dee Dee." You know? And
Right.
then back then, everybody was probably like, "Whoa, that teenager got with a 20-year-old." Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's so cool.
he's so cool. But yeah, but all that to say, I mean, Dee Dee was not right in the head. Her family didn't. Her family
No.
did not like her. There was, even in her own family history, there was suspicion of her having Munchausen by proxy with other members of her family, like her mom. A lot of her family members think that maybe she killed her own mother by not giving her food when she was sick. Um,
Hmm.
and and then later
She was
on, her
not
dad,
right.
yeah, her dad remarried, and some of her siblings think that she was intentionally making her stepmom sick by feeding her poison. Um, and it's just like if your own family even thinks that about you, like something is wrong.
Yeah. Red
um,
flag.
yeah, and she was known to steal a lot, and just be very manipulative. So, like, yeah,
Yeah, but again, why didn't her family try to help Gypsy somehow, or at least be involved to like keep an eye on her? It
yeah,
was literally just Gypsy and her mom. They knew how messed up she was, and they, I guess, didn't care enough about Gypsy to try and
yeah,
keep her safe.
yeah. I think you're right. I think when I was reading about this, I was just like, the mom is so possessive and so hard to get through that like no one could have done anything. But I feel like you're right that there were a lot of people involved that really could and should have done something and they didn't.
Right. Even like her own family could have called CPS or whatever
Yeah.
company it was
Yeah.
and been like, I think my sister is abusing her child.
Yeah.
Because they have to look into it. They don't just ignore it. Just
I also read that that when Dee Dee died, her family, they didn't mourn her, they didn't have a funeral, and they literally ended up flushing her ashes down the toilet, which is, I mean, you can say Dee Dee's a terrible person, and I think she is a terrible person, but that's pretty harsh. Like that made
that's
me
yeah.
sad to read.
Well, mental illness is I think a very real thing, and obviously she had a lot wrong with her. How she got that way, who knows? But
Yeah.
she was the way she was.
Maybe because her family didn't love her, and they just, well, that actually probably gave me a lot more sympathy for her than I had ever had reading the story of like her family was so just unloving. But because
Yeah.
I
Well,
think even if someone in my family, if they were an awful person, I would still not flush their ashes down the toilet. You know?
right. Yeah. Well, again, in the act, this happened. I don't know if it was real life, but in the act, Dee Dee's mom was mean as hell
Okay. Yeah.
to Dee Dee. So I don't know if her mom put her through crap growing up. I don't know what happened in real life, but
Yeah.
it could help explain why she was so messed up if it was true.
Yeah. Ugh, it's a cycle. Okay, so
Hmm.
you watched the act.
I did.
I watched one episode and I was like, I can't handle this.
Mm.
Tell me about it. What was your takeaway?
Um, so it gave me a good like general idea of what happened. They like obviously dramatized things like that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it also like it made me wonder like if Gypsy was like in on the con at all, like
Mm-hmm.
as she got older. Only because of there's one scene and it's after Nick stabs her mom and like Gypsy is panicking the entire time. Like she can hear her mom getting killed. She's in the bathroom just like losing her shit.
Yeah.
And then she's cleaning him up and losing it. And then there's a scene where she's panicking and then she just flips the switch and she's smiling and she's like, "You saved me," and like just
Oh
this
my
happy
gosh.
person. So it's like so she was freaking out and then so and then starts acting
Yeah.
like probably like well she's been acting her whole life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's normal to her, but um it was like you saw the real side of her where she's freaking out and then and then she's totally fine and they have sex on her bed minutes after he kills her mom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it just makes you wonder what also Gypsy's capable of
Yeah.
as far as like conning people. But like you said, that's her language is manipulation.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't I them sleeping together like right after the murder is such a weird detail that makes them sound like monsters. I feel like they would be more
Well,
sympathetic if they hadn't done that. Go to a hotel,
it's
like.
also it's yeah, it's also very strange. Like their very first meeting was at
Mm,
a movie theater,
yeah,
and in the show, she goes with her mom. I'm assuming in real life she went with her mom because she didn't let her go anywhere by herself. But Gypsy literally like goes to the handicap bathroom and he goes in there with her and they have sex there. And then she goes back out and watches the rest of the movie with her mom.
yeah,
And it's like, and while they're talking online, it's this very like sexual relationship. And it's like, where is that coming from? Like, what was that about?
yeah,
It's just this very random, weird. It just
yeah,
looks so weird. I don't even know how else to explain it.
yeah. I do have sympathy for her in that because it's like I I mean she was in her early 20s and her mom um basically was treating her like a 7-year-old. So she had all these questions about like boys and dating and sex and she had nowhere to go with it. So I
Mm-hmm.
do like I mean that's extremely deviant behavior, but also I
She
kind of
floored
have
it.
yeah, she's like 0 to 100. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't bother with like holding hands and kissing. They just
Yeah.
straight to it.
Like I do remember there's in that first episode of The Act, she's like jealous of her neighbor for having a boyfriend and like kissing boys, and so she like goes home and Googles like kissing and stuff. And
Yeah,
I don't know, I just felt like I had sympathy for her. Like she wants to experience these things and she has no idea
trying to be
how.
normal.
Yeah, and her mom is not going to help her or teach her or give her a path to do it in a healthy way. So she does this shady,
Yeah,
secretive, deviant stuff. So,
that's another thing. Do you know how she got away with that? Like, how did her mom not know? Did her mom not know she even had like a laptop or a computer or whatever? How was she getting away with talking to people online
yeah.
every day?
I think they had a laptop that they shared, and then they had like social, like they had a Facebook account that they shared to kind of like cultivate followers and supporters and stuff. But
People
I
that
was
give them money.
yeah, but I was reading that like she would get online at night after her mom was asleep and message this guy and send him like
And
dirty
just like
pictures and stuff.
delete the history
I
or
guess, or
whatever.
I
So
don't
her
know. I
mom,
mean, I wouldn't be
unless
surprised.
Dee Dee wasn't.
I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't know how to do a history search on a computer.
Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah, so yeah, all that to say, I just feel like Gypsy's a loose cannon. We don't know, we don't
Mm-hmm.
know, we don't know what she's capable of. But she's free now. She was
Yeah.
freed on December 28th, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
She was reunited with her husband, who she married in prison about a year ago, and moved in with him in
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana.
And you see
She's
the weird, like, she's still doing weird, like, sexual posts and stuff. So, like,
yeah,
very strange. I feel like a lot of the stuff she has posted has just been like she feels like a famous person. Like she
yeah,
feels like any other celebrity at this point, and she's
yeah,
posting like she is, and it just feels
yeah,
very like inappropriate.
yeah.
Like you
It
just got
reminds
out
me
of
of Britney
prison for
Spears.
killing your mom. Yeah, just like not right.
Yeah. Yeah. She is famous. She's infamous. She's famous for a bad thing.
Yeah, I
She's
don't
got
think
a
she knows that.
yeah. She is also TikTok famous. She set up a TikTok and I don't know how many followers it has, but she's blowing up TikTok.
It feels so weird, and
Yeah.
it's like I feel like she's really enjoying the attention,
Hmm.
but I think most people are watching her like you would watch a freak show.
Yeah.
Like, as bad as that sounds, we're not watching because we care about her. We're watching because she's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair. And well, it's interesting because I don't think she's really like a proper victim or villain in this, or she's both. Like she's both a
Yeah.
victim of her mom and she's also a murderer. But most people understand why she did it, which is why she had such a light sentence. But
Hmm.
I think, and it's hard to judge her. Like I think people's reaction to her is like curiosity. It's a little bit ambivalent. We're kind of like wanting the best for her, but not necessarily cheering for her. And I feel like over the next couple of years, or maybe even the next decade or so, I think she's going to reveal her character. And she's either going to be like, then we'll know, like, is she a good guy or a bad guy? You know, like, is she gonna redeem her story and do something good, or is she just gonna keep being like manipulating and aggressive and
Exactly.
like inappropriate online? You know.
When she
So,
did make a post that was like, let's get down to why I'm actually on social media. And she's talking, it was something to help other kids.
yeah,
But again, it didn't seem sincere. It was like she wanted to say something to like go against the backlash that she got for being on social media and acting like,
yeah,
she's a celebrity.
yeah. Well, did you see the Dr. Phil interview that she did?
No.
I thought in that one she was in prison still, but I thought she said, I mean, I don't know if she was sincere. I guess I perceived her to be sincere, but she said all the right things. She said, like, I'm sad my mom's dead, but I didn't see any other way out, and it's fair that I'm in prison. She's like, I think my sentence is a little long, but she's like, I'm gonna have my freedom someday. And I was actually like very impressed with her composure and the content of her answers. And like, I don't, when someone talks like that in that high squeaky voice, I just assume everything they say is insincere. So like, it's
Can't
hard
take
for,
them seriously.
yeah, it's hard for me to gauge. But I mean, she definitely said all the right things, and I wouldn't be surprised if she has somebody coaching her on how to
Hmm.
present with her PR.
Yeah, she does do a good job of saying what you're supposed to say.
Hmm.
But if she means it, who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, she's been making the rounds. So she's got the Act just came out on Hulu. She had a lifetime docu series that came out this month called "The Prison Confessions of Gypsy-Rose Blanchard." She put out an ebook. She was on Good Morning America, CNN, and The View. So I mean, she's trying. She's not trying to go quietly into her little country home in Louisiana. She wants to be. She wants to
Yeah.
be out there. She wants to be seen. She wants to meet Taylor Swift, which, I mean, who doesn't?
Hmm.
So,
Well, and that was another like weird thing. Like you're getting out of prison and you're they're like, "What are you gonna do?" And she's like, "I'm gonna meet Taylor Swift."
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
okay,
do you
get
think
in line.
Taylor's do you get in line? Do you think Taylor's gonna take a meeting with her?
No, definitely not.
Definitely. All right, fair enough. Uh, all right, so what do you think the future holds for Gypsy-Rose?
I have no idea. I think she's gonna get partially canceled eventually.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. She does want to have kids, and oh, did you see the thing about how her boyfriend or her husband, people are saying he looks like her mom?
Oh God,
Just like
make it stop.
he has like the same haircut and like body shape, and I was like, oh, that's kind of
Oh
mean. That's kind
no.
of mean. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, he does.
Oh no.
but
Don't tell me that.
but yeah,
I have not heard that.
I'm on the fence about how things are gonna go for her. I hope she gets continued help and support, and
Hmm.
I hope she proves herself to be a good person. But it's still
What do you think of her husband?
I mean, what kind of man marries a woman that's in prison? I don't.
Well, it's very strange. It was so he was in the interview that I watched, and it was like he was trying to convince his friend to do something. I don't remember, but it was like, if you do this, I'll send a letter to Gypsy Rose. And so he did. And it was like, also while they're talking about this in an interview, while it's on my mind, they asked her if she got a lot of letters while she was in prison. And she said after the act came out, she had a lot of letters from men. And she's like giggling. She's like, yeah, a lot of men wanted to get with me. And she was like kind of bragging about it. And that was just like gross to me.
Yeah,
But yeah, that no normal man is going to try to get with a girl who was abused as a child and then sent to prison for killing her mom. Like there's something off with them.
yeah. Well, and I think they know that they can, like, she's used to being controlled, and I think that's
They
probably what
like
they
that.
want, is that they want someone who they can like own, like the same way that her mom
Hmm.
owned her, and
Take her mom's place.
yeah, and I mean, she won't know any better, like,
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't know, maybe I don't think anything good will come from that.
Yeah. Well, and what I get from that is like they watch the act and they see Joey King and they fall for her acting like Gypsy Rose, and then they're like, all right, so I can't get Joey King, but I'm going to reach out to the real Gypsy Rose. I do love her. And through the act, she's doing the voice and she sounds exactly like Gypsy, but the whole time I'm like, is she ever going to use her normal voice? Because I can't do this much longer.
I'm a little bit worried for when they have kids and how that's gonna go, but
Not
also
well. How could it?
crazy weirdos have kids all the time, so like
Yeah.
they'll be fine. Hopefully their kids will be resilient.
Mm. They're going to have to be.
um, well, I wish Gypsy Rose the very best.
Fingers crossed.
Anything
I
else
don't
with
have high hopes. I just don't.
um yeah, I hope I get to meet Taylor Swift before her, but that's
If she meets Taylor Swift before we do, that's bullshit.
all right. Well, wishing you the best, Gypsy Rose, but not in that regard. Thanks
That's
for
right.
listening, everybody. We're your bitch pack friends.